Hello and welcome back to another video. I am so glad you're here. On this channel, I talk about news, controversies, and drama on the bookish side of the internet, and I certainly hope you'll stick around. If this looks like a separate clip, and I just like inserted it here, it's because I did. I had said something here that I didn't like the way it came out. So here I am inserting this clip that I'm filming at the end. So I wanna just like quickly speak on the absolutely sickening things happening in Minnesota and beyond. It feels weird to be talking about book scams when people are being shot in the streets and kidnapped from their homes, but a lot of you have so kindly told me that you find my channel comforting, and I'm so glad I can provide that. And while I'm certainly not the type in general who keeps politics off my page, I wanted to be perfectly clear that I'm horrified by what's going on, and I don't know. I've definitely seen some people discussing how, I don't know, how much it bothers them when creators don't say anything, and I know that I'm not like a big creator, but I do want it to be clear how I stand and how I feel about these things, and I just don't want there to be any confusion about where, what I believe in. And so I did put in the description some links to websites that amazing people have put together with ways to help in this time where I think a lot of us feel pretty helpless, especially outside of Minnesota, outside of the United States. And I want to say something. I know that what I talk about is not like groundbreaking, life-changing things, but I'm still here posting them, and it's just kind of strange to feel like living normal life when there's so much going on that's just not normal and should never be normal. So definitely check out those links. There's a lot of stuff that you can help with things that are not monetary, making phone calls, writing letters, like all kinds of stuff like that can be really helpful too. So yeah, I encourage you to check that out. Now let's talk about a shady book bot. So today we've got another special edition book company that is being really messy, but this one is taking it to a new level. So in addition to the terrible customer service we've come to expect, we've also got privacy breaches, possibly stolen art, and more. So settle in. So thanks to a couple of my amazing subscribers, I was alerted to this situation last week, starting with the following story on Instagram. This was originally posted in a private Facebook group and shared with permission, but full disclosure, I don't know who the original poster is. This story was reposted by Thick Thighs No Lies, and I promise there's plenty of evidence to back up the validity of the story later on. So it says, serious warning about at the ink pages. This is a huge breach of customer confidentiality. Please share. This is not me / my story. And then we see the post. It says, important PSA about ink pages. They are sharing private personal information to other customers directly. I reached out to them about a replacement for a damaged book. They were super quick to reply, saying they would replace. I then get a DM from a stranger that she is shipping books to me, and Ink Pages sent her my name and address, so she just wanted to let me know. She had asked for a refund, and they gave her my information to send the books to. Her refund was requested due to misaligned edges, which is a damage in itself, and they thought they'd save on shipping costs, I guess, by her sending her not as damaged books to me directly, since both in the US. She thought I was a rep or someone who deals with returns. This is wrong on so many levels, but the most concerning being that they are directly sharing a customer's private information with their other customers. I will not be doing business with this company anymore and am waiting on their response. We'll be requesting a refund and cancellation and refund on all future orders with them. If they do not, I will be disputing. I'm going to look into what other recourse there is for their sharing of my private information, but since they're an overseas company, I'm honestly not sure what I can do. Please be careful going forward with any business you have with them. I know we're all very active in the best groups and share our address willingly sometimes, but that is on us. And there are people you don't want having our information. Plus, maybe you give out a P.O. box to strangers on the internet and not your home address. I don't know, this has me with the little blowing up of the mind person. So, to review, a customer with a damaged book was directed to ship her damaged book to another customer who wanted a replacement for her damaged book. and neither of them knew they weren't dealing directly with the company. And it seems that this was not even a one-off, but we will get there. So sit with that a moment. So right off the bat, there's a couple of problems. First and foremost, sharing customer information with another customer, on its own, this would be absolutely unacceptable, but then we add in the fact that they wanted to replace a damaged book with a different damaged book. It can be assumed that their reasoning was to save on shipping because the company is based in Thailand and both of these customers are in the United States. But like, too bad, so sad. That's the cost of doing business. Since the company was tagged in the post, they took the time to reply to Thick Thighs No Lies. She writes, update, I received this DM from the Ink pages, and additionally, this is the statement on their Instagram. The DM to me contains a blatant lie, as I have seen with my own eyes documented evidence that they have shared customer details, name and address with another customer. And from the comments within this thread alone, this seems to be a common occurrence. Do with that information what you will. And so they replied to her story, where she had reposted that I just read you. They wrote, hi, thank you so much for your concern and for letting us know. We are aware of the concerns that have been shared regarding customer privacy. We want to be clear that the Ink pages does not share or sell customers' personal information. After reviewing the situation internally, we identified an internal handling error in how a specific order was processed. The matter has been addressed internally, and appropriate corrective actions have been taken to ensure our policies and procedures are clearly followed moving forward. We take customer trust seriously and appreciate the understanding of our community as we handle this internally. So there's actually no way this was a mistake, if you ask me. And how can they say they don't share customers' personal information? Like, they literally did. And people started sharing this, so the Ink pages made the classic, like, damage control post on their Instagram. We're aware of the situation currently being discussed and take it very seriously. You know it's serious when they have to do, like, the slideshow carousel post. All effective orders have been refunded. After a thorough internal review, we have reviewed and uploaded our internal procedures related to return shipping and the handling of customer information. Protecting customer privacy is a priority for us, and we regret any concern the situation may have caused. We've taken additional steps to ensure this does not happen again. We really appreciate the community bringing this to our attention. And the actual body of the post says pretty much the same vague nothingness, but here it is anyway. Dear friends, thank you for your patience while we took the time to review the situation thoroughly. The matter discussed online relates to a limited fulfillment scenario and does not reflect our standard operating procedures. After internal review, this approach has been fully discontinued, and our processes have been updated to ensure that all customer information is handled strictly within our approved shipping and logistics system. Why, if this does not reflect their SOPs, then why did they have to update their processes? Anyways, we want to clearly address data protection. We do not share customer payment details, billing information, or banking data with any third parties outside of our payment processors. I feel like I just said data and data in the same two sentences, but I said it differently. It doesn't really matter, but it was just weird. Customer address information is used solely for the purpose of fulfilling orders and is handled in accordance with our privacy policies. We appreciate the feedback and messages we have received. Maintaining customer trust is a priority for us, and we remain committed to upholding it. Now, technically, they aren't wrong because nowhere in their privacy policy does it say explicitly that they won't share your information with a stranger. Their little "how do we use our personal information" section says, we use the order information we collect generally to fulfill any orders placed through the site, including processing your payment information, arranging for shipping, and providing you with invoices and/or order confirmation. There's more, but that's kind of like, I don't know, where, yeah, I don't know. When I buy something online directly from a company, I think that it's fair to assume the item will be shipped from that company, or from like a company, I guess, if it's like a drop shipping situation. But if sharing personal information is what they mean when they say arranging for shipping, then hey, I guess they're innocent in all of this. But it's pretty fucked and they know it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be trying to cover their ass now. And of course they turned off comments for this post, but that didn't stop people from sharing their thoughts on previous posts. It never does. I'm horrified to learn that this company is giving their customers' addresses to other customers so they can ship their lesser damaged books and save your company's shipping costs. And apparently this is not a one-time deal, and you've been doing this for at least a year. Someone replies, "What? Is this true?" And that same person says, "I know 2 people it's happened. That is what the statement is about that they just made. Gave out phone numbers and addresses and told people to send books to other customers. I was wondering what that statement was about." Someone else says, "From everything I've seen and read, and for legal reasons I will say allegedly, the ink pages, they gave a customer who was returning faulty books for a refund another customer's name and address to send them to because her books were damaged and she wanted replacements. Gross misuse of private data, as well as replacing damaged books with faulty books. Both pretty bad behavior, but the sharing of personal customer data is just beyond." Why do I keep saying that in different ways? It's happened with multiple people over years. My friend was one, they tried to have her send a book to someone else. They made her wait a week for a refund because they were waiting for someone else in the US to request a replacement. And once they did, they emailed her the customer's address. Another customer was told to send her copy to someone random in Germany. One buyer had her copy come from someone random in Chicago. Also should note this company's address shows a water park in Thailand, but emails from them show timestamps for Russia. So that's insane. And I did my due diligence, and this is in fact accurate. Here is the address listed on the website. We can see this is saying that they're based out of Thailand, and Maxim Shumakov is the, I guess, person in charge of things. And then here's the address of the previously mentioned water park. Same thing. So, kind of bizarre. After a little more digging, I found that the name listed on the website, Maxim Shumakov, is a Russian man who teaches wakeboarding at the Phuket Wake Park. So this screenshot was taken from a YouTube video that I'll link below. It doesn't really add anything, but just in case you want to see it, it's like a minute long. So I have no idea what any of that means or what to take away from it, but I figured I'd share what I was able to find, even if it's a really strange connection. So circling back to the original post, the customer tasked with sending the books also posted in a Facebook group with concerns of her own. "I've got a question for all you lovely people. I ordered the Flesh and Fire books 1 and 2 from the ink pages. They arrived last week and I'm not happy with the edges. I contacted them and they offered me a refund and asked that I waited for them to provide me with the address to send them to. Fast forward to today, I got an email from them with an address to send my books, and it recognized the name on it as someone from SSSW and reached out to her just thinking she was a rep for IP. And SSSW is a book swap Facebook page where like people can buy and sell their special editions. Nope, it turns out that they sent me her home address to send my books to as she had been waiting for replacements from them. My books were her replacement. She did not give them permission to be sending out her address in this manner. What do? I already told them I'm not sending books to their customers' home addresses and asked for a prepaid label to their warehouse or something, but should I take it further than this? All the edges look the same, and I cannot even imagine how many people contacted them for replacements and have had their information shared with strangers like this." And here are the messages where the two figured out there was something shady and weird going on. So one of them says, "Hi, random little question. Ink Pages is having me send a couple books back to them and gave me an address of someone whose name is the same as yours. And my curious little mind is wondering if that's you or your name twin." And the other person says, "What are they messing up? They're supposed to be sending me replacements, but they've been emailing me directly and haven't mentioned that." And the other person says, "Oh gosh, well, surprise, you're getting a package from me. The first 2 Flesh and Fire books have pretty awful edges that got cut off, and they agreed to let me send them back for a refund." And then she posts a picture of it. So between the two of them, they were able to figure out what the company was trying to get them to do. Naturally, the OP reached out to the company after finding this out. She writes, "Hello, it has come to my attention that you have shared my personal information to a stranger to send their damaged books to me. This is unacceptable in so many ways and has to be illegal. I would like a full refund for this order, as well as a refund for the continuation order of the Flesh and Fire series and the Guardian of the Drowned Empire continuation. This is super upsetting to me. I loved your company, but have zero trust in it now, and won't even be able to complete my series now, so that's money lost. Please get back to me ASAP." And this was their reply. "Thank you for your message. We sincerely regret that the situation occurred and understand why it was upsetting for you. An internal error led to your contact details being shared inappropriately, and this matter has been addressed internally to prevent any recurrence. While there was no intent to misuse your information, we recognize that the responsibility remains ours and we take concerns around privacy very seriously. As requested, we are issuing a full refund for your completed order, the continuation order of the Flesh and Fire series, the Guardian of the Drowned Empire continuation. These refunds are being processed and you will receive confirmation once they have been completed. We appreciate you bringing this to our attention and regret that this experience affected your trust in our company. Should you require any further assistance regarding the refunds, please let us know. Kind regards, the ink pages. So based on stories from others, this is absolutely not the first time that there's been an incident like this. So the following are comments from the Facebook group where the post was like cross-posted to kind of make people aware about this company. So I know I commented on your other post, but wanted to share so that people are aware this is not a one-off, that this happened to me, but vice versa. I was asked by them to do the same thing and ship my damaged books to someone else internationally. I refused to do so and I'm waiting for a response. Okay, I just got my package from them, and it was from somebody named Jeremy with a US address. I had no idea what the package was until I opened it. Also, they said they'd send me an email with tracking because I inquired about my address, and they said order had shipped. Never received that email. Someone else says, mine also came from a Jerry in California. I just assumed it was the address they used for the US returns, but now I'm second guessing. Someone else, mine came today from Jerry with a Cali address. There were 2 other labels underneath it, but they ripped when I tried to peel it apart. And a third person says, mine came from Jerry with a Cali address as well. Now I'm worried because I have one more order with them. So Jerry from California is doing some heavy lifting for the shipping department, it seems. So this is definitely a situation that is unacceptable from any company. Replacing damaged books is not something the customers need to be responsible for. Like, that is honestly wild to me. And clearly the fact that they don't mention to the customers, hey, so you're actually going to be sending this book to someone else instead of back to us, shows that this is very much not an isolated incident and they're just hoping that people won't talk to each other. A lot of folks have mentioned reporting this to authorities, but with the company based in Thailand and most of the customers in North America and Europe, it gets pretty complicated. So let's move on to another big misstep from the ink pages. This situation took place last year in February. A former rep of theirs called A Quart of Spicy Books posted this on TikTok, so I will let her break down the situation.
I just got blocked by an indie book box and I put it on my Instagram and I've had like 40 messages. So here's what's going on. I was just scrolling through Instagram and I saw this. This is a story that they put up. It's the Ink Pages. If you've ever heard of them, they're an indie special edition company. And like, I wasn't going to make this video. I wasn't going to comment publicly on this. And then they blocked me. They've recently announced a special edition set. And essentially a lot of people have said that the artwork that is included on the hardback of the book, which I think is the main cover, I don't think they have dust jackets on, is very, very similar to a piece of art created by a Czech artist. Now, I didn't know any of this until tonight. And I saw this story post from them. It says, "Dear friends, in concern with these absolutely unreasonable comments of stealing someone's art, we've apologised already. This is the artist. Her work was a real inspiration for us." It then reads, "We didn't steal anything, as some people here are trying to blame us." The whole, like, I'm just going to warn you now, this whole thing is so unprofessional. And actually at no point have I ever accused them of stealing any art. I just messaged them and I said that I felt uncomfortable working with them moving forward because of the unprofessionalism of these posts and some comments and some messages that I'd seen, so that I'd be taking down the posts that I had done with them, and I was stepping back from promoting anything in the future. That's what made them block me. Let's look at the rest of this. We saw her beautiful cover and was impressed and inspired with the colours. But what about the concept? We don't agree here. I think they mean the concept of stealing. They then say, if you have read the book, if you had read it, then you would know. I think when it says the main characters is Budapest, they actually mean like Budapest is a setting for this and that the Budapest Parliament building is in the book. It's been a while since I have read this. It probably is. That's fine. That's not the problem here. They then go on to say, of course we will have a similar building. It's a real building. Babes, I don't think anyone is questioning how realistic your drawing of the Budapest Parliament building is. I will show you the 2 pieces of artwork side by side in a second. You can make your own decision. I'm not saying either way whether I think this is stolen artwork. I'm just telling you what's gone on. Then they've gone on to say the bars. Honestly, there's some bars, like prison bars on the cover, which is relevant to the story. We read the book. Bars are also an important part of the book. So it's so obvious that they're going to be similar. In no way, shape or form am I blaming the artist here. I honestly have no idea what's happened. I don't know what brief they were given. I don't know what's gone on. But these Instagram stories are really something. They've apparently apologised to the original artist, and they've given her the very kind offer of her being the cover artist. And she was our inspiration! This is a screenshot of a comment. Now, I can't read the original comment because it is not in a language that I speak. So I'm just going to comment on this comment that they've left, which says, "Don't you dare blame us with plagiarism." And nope, we will not tolerate these kind of comments blaming us. I think they mean here when it says like we see this like some kind of getting a hype, they think it's people looking for attention, I think is what this means. But if I've misinterpreted that, let me know. Like, why are you so on the defensive? Take a second and think, ink pages. So this one above my head here is the original piece of artwork. This, I believe, is on the Czech versions of the book. I don't know if you can see that little arrow at the top. It says, they say we stole it. As in, like, this piece of artwork above me is the one that people are saying, you've stolen it. And then the one this way is the cover. Now, I don't know about you. I think that looks pretty similar. Is there differences? Yeah, absolutely. Is that? Yes. Okay, slightly. They've said here that this is their reference picture below, which this is the actual building. It is a real building. I don't know. For me personally, there's too many similarities between this. I definitely think there's a bit of like shadiness going on here. Then I saw this story. Dear friends, due to the current situation, the incessant bullying, threatening, and terrorizing not only us but also the author and the artist, we've made a decision to change the back cover. You will def like it because somebody will be flipping off. I'm unsure. I went to go and find the original artist. They have a story up on their Instagram about the whole situation. They seem pretty happy. This is Google translated and the original is in Czech. So there's probably some slight mistranslations here or like slight things that haven't translated well. But it looks like the original artist is happy with whatever outcome has been agreed. This interaction is interesting to me. This is somebody who messaged them and said like, hey, have you made an agreement with the original illustrator? I obviously can't see their whole message, but I'm guessing they're saying like, hey, this is very similar. Like, what are you doing? And then they've said, we didn't know the author. We found it. I think by author, they mean illustrator. We found it on Pinterest without any signature. So we had no idea. Next time we will check everything. Why haven't you checked everything this time? Please calm down. We don't want to offend anybody. And this message that they've sent somebody saying, we didn't know that it was an artist's work. To be honest, we found it in Pinterest. And yes, it is our fault that we didn't check it. It is correct. Yes, it is your fault. If you're wondering what I sent them, I just sent them a message saying, hey, unfortunately I'll be taking down the posts I've previously done featuring the Ink Pages editions. I'm shocked at the unprofessionalism in your stories and comments regarding the Savage Lands edition. Don't think this has been very well handled and I will be stepping down from promoting anything. They put hi, oh, okay, and then blocked me. I do appreciate to a certain extent the communication here. You know for a fact, if this was a certain number of other special edition book companies, the post would just be deleted, the books would never come out, and we would never hear about it ever again. We would be gaslit into thinking it never existed. It's been a bit of a whirlwind, honestly. They have since taken all of these stories down. They have blocked me, so I can't see what else they've put up or what is going on their page. Just another day of getting blocked by special edition book companies.
So they found this cover on Pinterest and had their artist use it as inspiration. But the thing that gets me is how they say they didn't know an artist made it. Girl, what? What an absolutely bizarre thing to say. The only alternative I think that they could be referring to would be AI, in which case they're asking their cover artist to use AI for inspiration, and I'm not cool with that either. Now, I mean, I can definitely see similarities, particularly with like the color scheme, but I don't think this is necessarily copied, but I can see that if, you know, they found this original Czech edition on Pinterest and said, hey, use this as inspiration, like it is pretty heavily inspired by this other cover. But the combative way the Ink Pages has chosen to address this is not a good look. So A Court of Spicy Books did make a follow-up video to that.
I just got blocked by an indie book box and I put it on my Instagram and I've had like 40 messages. So here's what's going on. Just a little update on this one as if it wasn't bad enough. This morning I awoke to a message on Instagram from one of the people that is one of their reps who has told me that they have been asking their reps to report that video to make sure that you guys never see it. Like, tell me you've done something fucking shady and that you know your behavior is appalling without telling me that you think those things. I said this in the last video and I'll say this now, like I wasn't going to give this any of my attention. But for this special edition company to block me, keep in mind that before I posted that video, before they blocked me, the only interaction we had about this whole thing is that I said that I found their unprofessionalism around the whole situation quite shocking and that I wasn't comfortable working with them moving forward, so would be taking a step back from promoting their books. I said it quite politely, I'll have you know. They are now asking their reps to report my content. This isn't a business. This can't be a business. This is like petty mean girl behavior, but from a company. My recommendation at this point would just be like, stop. Take a step back. Think about your next actions. Reporting my content is going to get you nowhere. I will never see a response or what they might do to try and do some damage control around this whole situation because they have blocked me. But this situation just keeps getting worse and worse. You're gonna send people to report my video where I literally just shared the screenshots of things you said on your public stories? Information's out there, you can't prevent it being out there. I'm not the only person who has screenshots of it, I'm not the only creator talking about it. All you're doing by asking your reps, which are other bookish creators, you're asking them to report a fellow bookish creator, all you're doing is losing respect of the community. I would never. I work with a number of different special edition companies, if any of them came at me with that bullshit, if I got a message from any single one of them saying, hey, can you report this creator's video? We don't agree with it. Blocked. Nah, I'm not working with you. What kind of petty bullshit? Also, like, thinking I'm the problem here? It's like they've decided that that video going away will make all their problems go away. I feel like you might have bigger problems than that video. People have been talking about this for days before I even chimed in. So if you're one of their reps that has then messaged me to say, I can't believe they're asking me to report your content, or you're one of the reps that have said, actually, I agree with your video, it was really well set out, I'm not reporting it, what the hell? Credit to you. In fact, so many of you have said that you don't want to work with them anymore because of how they're reacting to not only the situation, but how they've reacted to my video. Have they messaged me to say, hey Becca, please take this video down, we don't like what you say? No, they're just asking people to report it, whilst having me blocked. Honestly, this whole thing. You're a business, you're a company, it doesn't feel like it. It is really clear when a company and a business doesn't care about this community. Like, how dare you ask the people that promote your services for free, might I add, unless any of the reps are getting paid, which I doubt it, how dare you put them in that awkward position? Creators deserve better than whatever the fuck is going on here. Just in general, I've seen some shady creator stuff happening for years on BookTok, genuinely targeting smaller or newer creators. We're all worth more than that. You deserve to be treated with more respect than that. So the whole situation's baffling.
So as she mentioned, people were messaging her about what the company sent them, and I do have a screenshot from what they were sending. So they basically like forwarded this TikTok to other reps and said, please can you report or do something about this disgusting video? This girl was our rep, and after this situation resolved yesterday and we spoke and stayed with this artist in good relationships, this disgusting girl reached us and said so many bad things about us, and now she is trying to jump in the last wagon and try to hype. I looked up what jump in the last wagon means, and it appears to be a Russian idiom with the same general meaning as the English language phrase jump on the bandwagon. Still doesn't really make sense to me, because like what bandwagon is she trying to jump on? I don't really get it, but I digress. So finally, on February 11th, and all of this was in early February, they made this post. The ink pages, moving forward. We would like to share with you that all the issues with the artist has been fully resolved in a positive and respectful way. We are now on great terms with Adela Stopka, and everything has been settled amicably. That is the artist of like the original check cover. We continue to maintain a strong and positive relationship with the author. We've also reached out to the team of our reps, and we're all on the same page moving forward in a positive direction. We apologize for the way this situation was handled, and this experience has provided us with valuable lessons, and we are committed to continuously improving on the professional aspects of our work. Thank you for your continued support. And of course, comments were limited, and I mean, clearly this isn't really accurate because I just told you about something that happened now, like a year later. But, you know, I'm glad that the artist and the brand worked it out, but if I had been invested in this while it was going on, I would have wanted to hear from the artist Adela Stopka as well. She was tagged in the post, so I assume that they wouldn't do that if things hadn't gone as they stated, but even so, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I would have like felt better if I was, again, tracking this in real time, having seen them also say it was resolved. Anyways, that's where we are in this situation. I have like 3 other book boxes in my queue of research to make into a video. So get ready to be hearing a lot about these coming up soon. And I will definitely try to keep up with this situation since it's all been in like the past week. And so I'm hoping that there will be some kind of resolution to update you on. But before closing this out, there's a Threads post that I do want to comment on. It says, hearing that there's drama with the ink pages now is not surprising in the least. All these new book subs that keep popping up, and each one has been more toxic than the last. But giving other customers addresses out is insane, and I hope people take legal action because that is illegal and unethical. Yes, it is. But on that second sentence, I can't help but seeing this so clearly. Much like putting on a book signing event, creating a book box subscription is not a get-rich-quick scheme, and it's not something you should be jumping into without experience or knowledge. And the disorganization and cutting corners can go so much further than just harming the end consumer. When I talk about book events gone wrong, the majority of my videos focus on the attending authors and how they've been conned and taking advantage of. And in a book box situation, it might be the customers losing the most money, But think of an author who believes they're getting their break by being featured only to find out the box is doing unethical things, and now they look bad by association. Same goes for artists. And while I think a lot of us would be looking out for a response from like authors or artists to explain the situation, etc., a lot of people wouldn't, and suddenly they've lost a potential reader simply because they took advantage of an opportunity. And it sucks. Again, I have a few more book box videos coming soon, and I really wish I didn't. Anyways, today's indie author is Brendan Corbett, a young adult and new adult fantasy author. He grew up in a military family, always moving, and books, particularly fantasy, were both stabilizing and the ultimate escape for him. One thing that he mentioned that I have to talk about here is that he's starting a kimchi business, and I wish I could try some. But as he put it, despite his very white/Irish sounding name, he's actually biracial Korean white. In the past few years, he's released 6 books across 2 series. The Rune Tree Chronicles is a complete young adult epic fantasy series following Ada, a young thief. Bound to the whims of a shadowy society of thieves, her life takes an unexpected turn when theft from a Girl, a member of the legendary Order of Historians, goes awry. The Quinate's Faithful, 3rd and final book coming 2026, is a YA/NA epic fantasy series with romance, but don't call it romantasy, because it's much more a fantasy with a romance. The story begins with Dara and Wynn, prospective mages in the Quinarium, the dominant religious body, being paired on their rite of the faithful. Through their journey, they are forced to question everything they believed in, all while their bond grows ever stronger. Each book follows a new pair of protagonists profoundly affected by the Quinarium. Down in the description, I will link Brendan's social media, as well as where you can purchase his books if they sound like something you'd be interested in. Indie authors are a vital part of the bookish community, so try to support them wherever you can, even if that's just a follow on social media. It all helps. If you'd like the chance to be a featured indie author, there is a form down in the description. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love it if you would. Check out my Bindery page if you'd like to support me over there, and also go check out those resources for Minnesota. Yeah. Bye.